You're going to, again, extract information from the passage that you're going to be given, and you're going to place it correctly, whether it's in the affirmative or if it's in the opposition. After you do that in your group activity, and I'll explain it a little bit more down the line, but after you complete your group activity with your partners in your group, we're going to have you to write the information on the papers that you see that I have provided on the board, under affirmative or under the opposition. You're going to select one student from your group who is going to report back to the class your findings. That is the information that you have extracted, that evidence that you have extracted from those passages. And you're going to, again, tell the class the information that you have gathered and cite that as, again, affirmative or the opposition. After we close out on that, we'll have our closure activity, which will be an exit slip ticket. I'm going to, at that time, give you a question that's going to pertain to the lesson. And then, before you leave, I'll require you to give me that information from the closure exit slip. Okay, do you have any questions? You have your passage that is argumentative in nature, but before we move on to your reading passage, on our agenda next is your quick review. So let's look at some things that we have been discussing in the past few days. Remember, we went through what an argument actually is. It's a disagreement between two or more parties. What wins cases? Evidence wins cases. We went over a claim. The claim, again, is your position on a subject. Everybody should be looking at this as a quick review. There are two sides to an argument. Again, you have the affirmative side and you have the opposing side. Other names that the affirmative may be mentioned as could be positive, a for or yay. Opposing could be negative, nay or against. Another word for argument is? Debate. Debate, good. This is just a quick review. Evidence is the proof in the case, and again, we went over different types of evidence that you may find in a situation or an argumentative type of passage. A rebuttal, which is a second or a counter argument. And most importantly, we went over the format for argumentative writing. Again, the first area that you need to explore when you have argumentative writing is you need to state your claim. Then you must present your evidence for your claim. For your 8th grade level, you must also present your opponent's claim and evidence. Then you come back with your rebuttal and then your conclusion. So this is very important. Always remember your format and keep that in the back of your mind when you are writing your argumentative text. And of course, we use our T-short for our graphic organizer for your argumentative writing. We went over examples of how you place information on a T-short for argumentative and opposition. It is your evidence. And we have some examples of possible propositions and how propositions are usually worded. If you look at number 1, should students who are sent to pupil services not be allowed to participate in PBIS activities? Let's just look at number 1. This is just a quick review. Look at number 1. Should students who are sent to pupil services not be allowed to participate in PBIS activities? Who can state this, or how would you state this rather, as an affirmative claim? If you were in the affirmative, for this particular proposition, how would you state that as your affirmative claim? Jemima?
Yes, students who are sent to pupil services should be allowed to participate in PBIS activities.
Very good. So she began her affirmative claim with yes, that is stating her position. Yes, students who are sent to pupil services should be allowed to participate in PBIS activities. Let's look at number 2. Should students be allowed to choose if they want to attend high school? This is a possible proposition. It's argumentative. It's debatable. Should students be allowed to choose if they want to attend high school? If you wanted to take the opposition claim in this, how would you word it as an opposing claim for number 2? Dante?
No students should not be allowed to choose if they want to attend high school.
Very good. No, students should not be allowed to choose if they want to attend high school. Now remember that because his claim was in the opposition, that means that he is against students being allowed to choose if they want to attend high school. Okay, let's see. Irrelevant evidence has nothing to do with the proposition. And why would we not want irrelevant evidence? Kaylee, why would you not want irrelevant evidence as part of your argument? It would be off topic and it would present for a what? What type of argument?
A weak
A weak argument. And we know strong evidence wins cases. All right, let's see. Is there anything else? Okay, those were just examples of writing claims. All right? So, we've had our quick review. Do you have any questions about the review of what we saw? At this point, you should have been studying your notes at home. We've had a short quiz also on the information I presented to you for argumentative writing. Do you have any questions? Good. Okay, so next on our agenda is our group activity. Everyone has a passage that is argumentative in nature. This particular passage states, should students get paid for good grades? Should students get paid for good grades? So before we even break up into our groups, can I get some feedback on that? How do you feel about that? Should students get good grades? I'm sorry, should students get paid for good grades? Tariq, what do you have to say about that?
Yes, students should get paid for good grades because they are doing good in school and they should be rewarded.
Okay, you feel that if they do good in school, they should be rewarded, okay? That's his position on that. Anybody else? Just tell me, how do you feel about should students get paid for getting good grades? Alyssa?
They shouldn't because their mom needs that money for their bills.
Okay, so you feel that the parents have other things that they need to take care of in the household? Is that what you're saying? And therefore students should not get paid to have good grades. Is there anybody else? I'm just trying to get a feel of where you are with this topic. Should students get paid for making good grades? This is before we even actually get into the writing to know the evidence that's presented here. I'm just trying to get a feel of what you're thinking, okay?
Yes, students should get paid for good grades because they work hard and they should get rewarded for it.
Okay, I think that's a good proposition that she has there, or a good claim that she has there, that the students should get paid if they work hard for it. I guess some of you may look at it like, hey, it's a job, right? Does this feel like it's a job for you?
Yeah.
And so you feel like you may want to get paid for it, okay? Yes.
Yeah, they should get rewarded for good grades, but not every time because they should naturally do it like by themselves without whether they get rewarded or not get rewarded.
Okay, all right, that's her position on that, and that is okay. We'll have one more, okay?
You should get paid for good grades because we need money too.
You need money. I mean, is there anything in particular that students, your age group, how you feel, that you need money for something in particular? I know you guys love these cell phones and you love, okay, so, but there are some things in particular that you wish that you could have some money coming to you, that you could buy some of the things that you want, okay? All right, so, let's go ahead and I want you to first of all read. I want you to read the passage first. After you read the passage, I'm going to break you up on your particular argument and your particular evidence. But be aware that your opponents are also pulling evidence from this passage as well. And we know that strong evidence wins cases. Be mindful that the evidence that you are pulling from the passage. So remember, as a reminder, you have your T-charts written on your paper. You are jotting down your information for the side that you are on. Remember the affirmative people over here. You are pulling evidence from your passage and placing it on the affirmative side of your T-chart. Make sure that the information that you are extracting is relevant evidence. The same for the people on the opposing side. You're extracting the information that is opposing to the proposition. Remember your proposition is should students get paid for good grades. And you are placing it on the T-chart where the opposition side of the T-chart is. Do you have any questions about what you're doing?
No.
Okay, let's go ahead and get it started. I'm monitoring. I want to see. I want to hear you in action.
Buy something special with your money.
I saw work hard. Anyhow,
Money versus
I saw
money.
something.
That's what
yeah,
I agree.
Where is that? So as you're writing, make sure you use bullets. You can use bullets or dash. Let's see. Good, you can use bullets or dash. Okay, so students, you have read the passages that dealt with affirmative and the opposition. You extracted your evidence along with the members of your group. Again, this group was in the opposition, yes, and this group was in the affirmative. Okay, so you have selected someone to speak on your behalf. And who, Giovanna, you're gonna speak for the affirmative side, and Tyreek, you're gonna speak for the opposition. So let's begin with the affirmative side. Again, your proposition was, should students get paid for getting good grades? Tell me what your group came up with.
Our group came up with students could buy something special. If they have money, they could buy shoes or something. They could work harder in class. They'll take special trips. They'll be ready for job training. They could have movie nights. The teachers could go parties for class. And they'll have special events.
Okay, so those are all of the things that the students will be allowed to do if they earn the money for getting good grades, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. What about the opposing side? Now, your team was against being paid for getting good grades. What evidence did you pull from that?
We pose that students would only learn because of rewards, that meaning that.
I'm sorry, can you speak a little louder?
Meaning that they would learn so they can get paid.
Okay.
Or get a reward or something.
Okay,
And short-term solution, meaning that meaning that they really not gonna be learning it, they're just gonna be jotting down.
Oh, okay.
So they can, and then it would be a bribe to learn, so they just get bribed to learn whatever they don't feel like learning, they just get money.
Okay.
It's really good. Money versus learning, meaning that they would get money for learning, but they wouldn't be learning, they would be just paying attention and jotting everything down, and for their study, like that moment.
does that
before the
mean in a
test.
short term, they will learn it only for that time?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Will work because of money, would agree to anything for money. Both of those are meaning like the same, they mean the same thing, because they will agree to do good work to get money, but they really would be learning anything.
Okay,
Parents would lose a lot of money because they're rewarding them for just not trying to learn, they just not memorizing things in the class, they would just
Okay.
like jot things down, so they would be losing all the money that they worked hard for.
okay, good. Quick question. In your findings, did you see anything that was irrelevant? Remember, we talked about relevance and we talked about irrelevance. Relevant evidence has to pertain directly to your proposition and directly to your claim. Did you see anything that was presented that would be considered irrelevant? Can you speak up? I'm sorry. Can you speak
Yeah,
up?
there's, like how she said, job training.
Okay.
Like, what that have to do with, like, them getting money for doing good grades? What that have to do with job training?
Can somebody from the affirmative side explain that? Anybody? The job training aspect? Yes.
It's saying like if they get money, and then like if they're like say if they're in high school and then they're getting money for doing good grades, you're not gonna be in high school forever and you're gonna need a job.
Okay.
And some people like might decide not to go to college, so if they get good grades and then they get money for it, they'll need that for job training.
Okay. All right. Did you understand that? Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay. Very good. In your group project, and I'm going to give some Falcon Bucks